Committee on Homeland Security has made every effort to ensure that this investigation was thorough. We do not take this lightly. I don't hold any personal animosity towards Secretary Mayorkas, but I sure as hell don't want to see him continue as Secretary of Homeland Security.
My Republican colleagues have failed to make a case for impeachment, failed to understand the Constitution, and failed to do anything to address challenges at the border. Republicans are pretending to provide accountability, just like they pretended to legislate these past months.
House Republicans and Democrats sparring at the first impeachment hearing of Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas yesterday. Homeland Security Committee Chairman Mark Green telling me that they are planning to hold 3 or 4 impeachment hearings this month. House Speaker Mike Johnson, meanwhile, speaking to President Biden about border policy on the phone yesterday. Johnson joined Martha McCallum to discuss the call. Watch this.
I do believe that he understands the magnitude of the crisis, or he's beginning to, and I'm hopeful that all of us will be able to work together to solve this dilemma. It's a catastrophe. That's the right word.
So did he indicate any openness to those executive actions, to taking them?
I don't think I'm at liberty to say exactly what we discussed.
Joining me right now is Texas Congressman Troy Nehls, a member of the House Judiciary Committee and a former sheriff himself. Great to see you, Congressman. Thanks very much for being here. Your reaction to this conversation about the border and these hearings, what should we expect?
Well, I will be a yes vote on impeaching Mayorkas. He's been a total dismal failure. He's been carrying the water for Joe Biden. But what's interesting, the dishonest media out there, they're making it sound, and with all due respect to our Speaker Johnson, trying to negotiate with Joe Biden to make sure that Congress, i.e. the House and the Senate, come up with a deal on border security. Listen, the previous administration under Donald Trump, he didn't get Congress to help him with his border policies. Donald Trump did it all pretty much by himself through 21 executive orders and 25 presidential memorandums. So our border crisis is on one person and one person alone. It's Joe Biden. He doesn't need Congress to fix this crisis. He can do it on his own by executive order, and he fails to do so. He's not going to do it, and now the dishonest media and everybody else wants to say it's Congress's fault. It's a diversion.
Yeah.
It's Joe Biden's fault, him and others. Yes.
Why won't he do it, Congressman? I mean, look, we're seeing the impact of this illegal migrant crisis everywhere. Look at what happened in Brooklyn. Students at James Madison High School in Brooklyn set to return to school today after they were forced to stay home and go to class remotely, virtual classes, after their school was turned into a temporary shelter for migrants because of bad weather. Can you imagine that this school basically told parents, change your schedules, you got to be home, your kids have to be home learning remotely because we need this space for illegals? Fox's Peter Ducey pressed the White House on it. Watch this.
First, a whole high school in New York is having remote classes today because the building was needed to house people who came into this country illegally. So what is the president's priority in this case? If a working parent had to call out to stay home with their kid today, isn't this Biden immigration policy literally taking money out of people's pockets?
That is something that New York City needs to answers to. That is a process that they took, so they have to answer to that. And as it relates to migrants and what's happening at the border, look, the president has taken this issue very seriously.
Congressman, your thoughts?
I can't listen to that nut job. I can't believe anything she says. Listen, because Joe Biden puts the American people last. He puts us last. His priorities, his long-term goal and strategies are let as many people in this country as possible during his term, because eventually they're going to do everything they can, the Democrats, to offer citizenship to everybody, and then it's one-party rule forever. I highlight this in my new book just released, Borderless by Design. It lays it out in detail exactly why this administration has put the American people last, allowing thousands of people, millions of people into our southern border. It's a long-term goal and strategy. Eventually citizenship, even though 10% of them can't even get a legitimate asylum claim, and eventually they're all Democrat voters.
Yeah.
It's clear.
And then there's the whole Hunter Biden debacle. The House Oversight and Judiciary Committees voted to advance a resolution holding Hunter Biden in contempt of Congress, setting up a full House vote on the matter. But the talk is all about Hunter showing up yesterday, unexpected, to Capitol Hill, making that surprise appearance during the contempt hearing. Congressman, South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace called him out. Watch this.
You are the epitome of white privilege, coming into the Oversight Committee, spitting in our face, ignoring a congressional subpoena to be deposed. What are you afraid of? You have no to come up here. Hunter Biden should be arrested right here, right now, and go straight to jail.
Congressman, your thoughts?
I mean, she's right. I mean, Peter Navarro, they obviously charged him. Steve Bannon, they charged him. They're civilians. Hunter Biden, you may be the president's son, but you're still a civilian. So I think he walked into that oversight committee. He sat there with a bunch of his goons around him, and he spit in the eye of Congress is what he did. We must hold him accountable. I believe Congress will hold him accountable. But in the end, nothing happens to this guy. Donald Trump gets reelected, and the old man pardons him before he leaves office in January 20th of 2024.
Kaylee, your thoughts. Jump in.
Congressman, I want to circle back to the impeachment hearing for Mayorkas really quickly. Fox News legal analyst Jonathan Turley wrote yesterday that while Mayorkas may be dishonest, duplicitous, and derelict, those things do not amount to the high crimes and misdemeanors impeachment standard. What are your thoughts on that, and how do you respond?
I think Jonathan Turley's a very smart guy and this and that, but I may not necessarily agree with him on this one. Now, I believe that we would have the will in the House of Representatives to impeach Mayorkas, but it goes nowhere in the Senate. No way there's a conviction. I don't know if we'd have the will in the House of Representatives to impeach Biden, even though he's the leader of all this mess.
Wow.
But I think Mayorkas has lied to the American people over and over. You got the borders are Kamala Harris. It's a dismal failure. Joe Biden's approval's at 33% because of the southern border, and now he wants to say, Congress, you better do something about this.
Yeah.
I'm not really, I refuse to help this guy improve his dismal border, his numbers of 33%, if he's not truly serious about securing our southern border. And that's H.R. 2, remain in Mexico, eliminate catch and get the catch and release off the table. We can't have catch and release.
Well,
can't have it.
What do you want Kamala Harris to do?
Well, she's not going to do anything. I think they just put her out there to make it look like she's actually worth something. She isn't worth anything. They've kind of put her in the basement, if you haven't noticed recently, because I think she embarrasses herself and the American people. So they've kind of hid her.
Congressman, thank you. We will be watching all of that. Troy Nehls joining us this morning in D.C.